and y'all thought that Chelsea was having a rough year. Get a load of City, guys. Before I continue, please smash the subscribe button and show your brother some love. As of late, I've been getting some love, but I need some more love, guys. Let's jump right in. Um, yeah, City has been charged with 100 breaches of FFP, violations by the Premier League. So, guys, that's deep. I don't know, 100, yo. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that is a lot of breaches. And the question is, what do these breaches cover? Why are they being charged? Well, they are being charged for variety of violations um, that span from how they have reported their earnings, and in which it includes the money that they generated, right, from sales, from ticket sales, from TV money, from shirt sales, sponsorships, and also the violation also cover their how they reported their expenses. So in a nutshell, the Premier League saying that City over in inflated their revenue numbers, and they ported their expense numbers. So it's like a double whammy. Classic example is, for instance, if they say that they raised 200 million from sponsorship money, but it really turned out that there was some kind of related party that was involved, that in essence, or effectively, what it did was, it was like cash being infused into their club, right? Which would be in a clear violation. I'm not saying that that's what's happened, but that's basically what they're saying. They're saying, listen, that some of the sponsorship money, some of the uh, revenue money that you have reported on your financial statements from 2009 to 2018 were over in inflated. So if you really only let's say earn 50 million pounds in those years, and you told us that you earned 300 million, and you can show, obviously, you can show cash flow of 300 million, which is one thing, but in reality, what is the um, content, the real content of that cash flow? Does it what does it really cover? Sales? Are those real sales, or are those just money being channeled through City, and then to make it look like City earn extra money from from an arm's length third party sales transaction? And that is, so that's the issue there on the top end. Okay, so that's the top half of the financial statement. Then on the bottom half of the financial statement, that would be the expense amount. So the expense amount, they're saying that City, obviously, the whole essence of SSPs, FFPs, they encourage clubs to increase their revenues, and to spend money, right? So no, they allow clubs to spend money in relation to how much money that the club actually earned from sales, right? So if you did not earn a lot of money on sales, then guess what? You can't, you are you are restricted. You're restricted to how much you can actually spend on players, on managers, and so on and so forth. And so what the Premier League saying on the bottom half of their financial statement, that of their income statement is what it is, of their statement of profit and loss, that City under reported the actual amounts that they spent to managers. For instance, Mancini was a manager during that period, and I believe that he was mentioned as a manager. I'm not sure if there's any other manager, but I do recall his name popping up. That his salary was under reported. I don't know by how much, but in essence they're saying that there's certain amounts, right, that showed up on City's uh, expenses, and then there was another. I'm not saying under the table, but there was another extra amount that was channeled to the manager through off book means, and that if that is true, that's a clear violation of FFP rules. Whether it's Premier League or whether it's uh, UEFA, it's a violation, right? And of course, y'all are saying, well, UEFA, why the heck didn't when UEFA a couple years ago? If you all do recall, UEFA banned City for 2 years from playing in Champions League. City got a 2-year ban in 2020 for playing in Champions League. And what happened was City, of course, appealed that ban, and um, they appealed it to CAS. CAS is like a sort of uh, arbitration, sports, body that kind of oversees sports in, Europe, and they were able to appeal that, decision to CAS, and CAS overturned UEFA's, rulings on a technicality. So it wasn't the overturning wasn't based on the merits of UEFA's charges. It was on a technicality, and the technicality was that the facts upon which UEFA based their charges, that those facts were actually time barred. So in essence, they're saying that there was some kind of limitations, statute of limitations that are applied, which says that, if you only have up to whatever 4 or 5 years from the actual event to file some sort of lawsuit or legal proceeding, and they're saying that the events, let's say for instance in this one, we have events going all the way down to 2009. That's a long time. So of course, the obvious question is, well, shouldn't City be able to do right, defeat it again, just as they did for the UEFA charges on the grounds of being time barred? And the answer is no, right? So the difference here is that Premier League, teams, are not allowed the benefit of using relying on some kind of time bar or limitations, statute of limitations as a defense to summarily get charges thrown out. So in this, unless something crazy, unless a city lawyers, and obviously the city got money, so they're gonna hire. They got the best lawyers that they can have, working on this thing. So unless the city lawyers able to find some kind of technicality, as they did in 2020, then they're going to have to respond to the merits of these charges, right? They're going to have to sort of show that, listen, what you guys said happened didn't actually happen, and that we actually, that money that we reported, that those monies are actually true sponsorship money. The amount that we paid our manager was the actual amount, so on and so forth. I mean, they're gonna have to prove it, all that. So you can only imagine this thing is gonna drag on for some few years, all right? And so the next question is, um, what's the penalty? Let's say that the best case deal doesn't happen for City. Then the next step is, okay, if City is not able to overcome all these 100 breaches, that's a lot. Okay, if they're not able to overcome every single charge, then what is the next step? Well, the next step is penalties. And well, then that's where obviously that's the £1 billion question, right? Because I mean, it could go anywhere. It could be anything as simple as financial penalty. It could be transfer bans, right? Where they're not allowed to sell players. To buy players. It could be points that they could deduct points anywhere from. It could be any points. It could be, a couple of points. It could be 30. It could be 40. Who knows what it is? And of course, the worst case deal is they could just get expelled from the league. They could get thrown out of the Premier League, and then that will knock them down to the championship level, also known as a relegation. So that's the worst case deal. Um, Now, what do I see happening? Well, obviously everything is still brand new. Before I say my own piece, right? First of all, let's be clear that City has come out today, and they were obviously shocked. First of all, they were shocked about the reports of these charges, because they found out, just like everybody else. They woke up in the morning, as they're drinking their coffee or whatever. Boom, turn on the telly, pop open their laptop, and they find out that they've been charged with 100 breaches of FFP by the Premier League. So City is not happy, as one might expect. And so they're going to, they basically mentioned that obviously that they're, surprised. They're not happy about all this stuff, and that they expect that they would, in a, due time, clear their names. That that the league pretty much has got this all wrong, and that's what you would expect to hear from City, from a PR point of view, right? Yeah, one other charge that I didn't mention also was that they mentioned that City did not cooperate with the Premier Leagues in investigation, and the Premier League has been investigating this matter for over the last 4 years, 5 years, at least 4 years. I mean, guys, that's a long time to investigate and dig things up and build a case. And what they're saying is that during that time, when you investigate, you're going to ask the party that's being investigated to provide documentation and things and people to interview and so on and so forth. And they may have given them some stuff, and they may have not given them some stuff, and they may have not given them access to people. Basically, the Premier League said, listen, you guys were not fully you did not cooperate. And that right there is possibly one of the charges, because you are required, clubs are required to cooperate to these type of inquiries. Okay, so failure to do that could definitely lead to sanctions from the Premier League. So that's another issue there. Now what else? What next? Well, what next is well, as I mentioned, penalties. Then also Pep. You have Pep. The issue of Guardiola during the last Champions League ban issue. Pep was assured, basically he all but threatened to leave, City, but the City bosses assured him that there was no FFP issue, and Pep pretty much made them promise that, listen, if there's any other FFP issue that pops up, I'm out of here. And so that's a question mark right there as to whether Pep is going to stay, not stay. I mean, this thing is going to hang over City's head like a dark cloud for the next few years. Pep might not have that appetite. So I'm not saying that this is Pep's last season, but the way things are going for City right now, and even this season, City in the league is not even playing like like a City of before under Pep. I mean, they seem like they're just running low on fuel, and they just might be gearing and saving their legs for Champions League, because that's really I won't say it's the only thing that City cares about, but I would just say that it's the only thing that City cares about. Okay, it's the Champions League. That's just the reality. Of course, they would love to win the league, but if they don't win the league and win the Champions League, City fans worldwide are going to be so happy. So now, as Chelsea fans, why should we care about this? Obviously, last but not least, why should we care about this? Well, we should care about this because FFP basically came into play, after Roman, our previous owner, was just throwing money left, right, and center, and then he pretty much shook things up from way back when in 2003 when he bought Chelsea. So he shook up the establishment, and that's how FFP, for better or worse, came about. And of course, they're not going to come out and say it's a Chelsea rule, but it is what it is. So should we be worried? I mean, our owners, Bali and Co. They just spent over 600 million pounds in less than 1 year, in literally 6 months. Should we be worried? Well, here for me, yes and no. Let me just start with a no, right? Are we Roma, just as they've gone back 10 years for City, could they go back to Roman's time? Of course they could go back, and you better believe that if there was anything that the league could have sniffed up on Chelsea, they would have sniffed that up a while ago and thrown us probably down to the championship. But the reality is that there's just nothing there. There's nothing there. The rules were written to checkmate Chelsea, and once the FFP went into effect, if you all remember, Chelsea changed their entire business model and went 100% into the loan market, if you want to call it, the loan market / loan sales model, where Chelsea had an any given year loan army of 40 or more players, of which every year they'll peel off about 10 of those players and cash them out at about 10 to like 20 million a piece, or even 5 million here, a little there. They were just making a lot. It was just gravy. So, and Chelsea wasn't really spending any crazy. Yeah, they always spent a lot of money. Chelsea always spends a lot, but nowhere near to the level that what we were spending, and we definitely didn't spend anywhere near to City's level. So we didn't have that issue in terms of sales. We didn't have an issue in terms of sponsors. I mean, our sponsors are valid third-party deals. Our jersey sales is what it is. We don't have a FFP issue on there, Roman. So then, what about under Bowley? Well, that remains to be seen because we just spent 600 million. But of course, recall that when Bowley, based on reports, when Bowley and his group took over Chelsea, um, it pretty much they took over an entity that was debt free because definitely was well documented that Roman had to give up his rights to any money owed to him in order to fast track the sale of Chelsea in time for Chelsea to be able to play in the Premier League this season, right? And so that was what happened. So based on reports, Chelsea basically was a debt-free entity as of day one when Bowley and Co. took over, and so that explains why they have spent a lot of money, and obviously we don't expect this kind of spending to continue, and especially after UEFA has slammed their door shut on Chelsea's so-called FFP loophole. So there's no issue. I mean, from my point of view, there's no concern. There's little to no concern for Chelsea. Of course, never say never, but I mean, you can be sure that the Premier League is going to be sniffing around Chelsea at any little chance that they have to see if a way they can rope us into this city investigation. So, but that's pretty much it, guys. How do y'all feel about it? I know this is a heck of a long video. I'm sorry, there's no way to make it short, but it is on what it is. Guys, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and take care. God bless you all. Peace.